Coveville in Leicestershire, Raging Nightmare.
Let's just remind ourselves of the Nightmare's form in the 7th Wars. Well, they defeated the seeded Spawn Again in their heat. They'd never before won a heat final in 2 previous attempts. But in the series semi-final, they came across defending champions Tornado. Got no further. Slammed into submission. And quietly, inexorably pushed to the pit. Raging Nightmare.
How are you going to handle this? There's 5 other robots in there. 4 of the other ones are flippers. Who's going to be out first?
Whoever's in front of us. We just go and aim for whoever's in front. There's no tactics, no nothing in these events. Go out there and hit whatever's in front.
Has lightweight body armour, that's a problem. Limited to 30 launches on the full CO2 load, that's a problem, but it does have high-powered weaponry and it is built for aggression.
From Tiverton in Devon, Robo Chicken.
Ah, but headless as it comes into the Annihilator. As a boggle-eyed bird, it beat Mega Morg in its heat, using the flipper in cunning style. Had a little bit of a pluck to get through before it was finally defeated, and tough as nails stopped the crowing of the Robo Chicken. Experienced though, and has the flipper, and is one to watch.
Yes, we've got this cunning plan. We're going to remove the head from the chicken and go in there, and nobody will recognise us.
You're telling me you're going in there as a headless chicken?
That's the best way.
This is the Annihilator. You've got no head, you can't see where you're going. The chicken's confused.
Sometimes it pays to be blind and just do what comes naturally.
The headless chicken has a high-powered flipper and a spinning disc. Good engineering, good weaponry, good fun. Can get up to 8 mile an hour top speed. Not the quickest.
From Stanwick in Northamptonshire, U2.
Well shepherded earlier on in the UK domestic championships. We thought it might be a lamb to the slaughter against Sore Point, but it was victorious and looked to have potential at that stage. Unfortunately, Tetanus Booster gave it the old sheep dip treatment. That's where its run towards the UK title ended. U2 back again for the Annihilator.
What are you going to do out there?
We're going to have to flip because the flipper isn't... It's a little bit dodgy, but it's going to try and flip.
How many flips have you got per go?
Maybe 20, 25.
20, 25. Sounds pretty good to me, Scott.
The 80mm flipper hits at 10 bar rate. It's running on 24-volt motors. It has a steel frame, but underneath, no armour. That's the vulnerability.
From Wilton in Northamptonshire, Can Open.
The reigning Annihilator champion. But wholly unimpressive in Robot Wars the 7th Wars, the UK Championship, beaten in its first round heat, as its grip on the championship was weakened by the Grim Reaper, Barbaric Response, Big Nipper, and Growler. Has to do better in the Annihilator.
Current Annihilator champions.
That's right, but not for long, probably.
What do you mean by that?
Well, there's a lot of flippers in this round. So basically, it's near enough 5 flippers against 1 crusher. So.
Reckon you're going down?
No, we're going to win. It's easy.
An invertible running robot with 4 sets of hydraulic piercing jaws. Ground clearance low, that's good. The success rate of this previously, though, has been very, very poor.
From Oregon in the USA, Flipper.
Have its first competitive fight here. I'll tell you why. Came across to try and qualify for the World Championships. Got there and no further. Got stuck on the floor flipper. Spartacus from the USA saw it off. Flipper from Oregon was all gone and out in a trice. Must improve. Can't do worse.
There's 5 other robots in there. Quite a lot of them are flippers. What will give you the advantage when you're there?
Well, I have a drum on the back of mine also, so I can go at it from 2 different angles, which some of the other ones can't.
It is absolute chaos once it starts. They're coming at you from all angles.
Yeah, I'm kind of hoping I'll kind of skirt the sides and hit people and survive the first round, and that way I can do something again in the next round.
If it's working, has a rotating drum and CO2 pneumatic lifting arm that also acts as a 3-mech. Can take a lot of abuse without damage, so says Joe Moravsky. The wheels use a chain drive though, that's a weakness.
From Newcastle in Staffordshire, Ripper.
A machine with attitude and talent. The talent was seen as they beat Agrabot convincingly. And also Daisy Cutter, very easily beaten by a good flipping machine. But then came the attitude. Overconfident, perhaps a wee bit cocky, they took on the house robots and sustained damage, which I think cost them later. Annihilator and Shunt ganging up. Ripper damaged. Over went the ref bot. But Firestorm was to have the last laugh as Ripper went over and out.
There's 5 other robots in there.
That's right.
Are you feeling afraid at this stage?
A little bit. It's going to be carnage, I'm sure. We're going to just stay out of the way and see what happens.
2 750-watt motors at 24 volts. A low-pressure flipper does have other weapons. Good driver control, but thin armour could be a problem here.
Roboteers, stand by.
Can opener, flipper, U2, Ripper, Robo Chicken, and Raging Nightmare. Robots in the arena. Stand by for the first round of the Annihilator after the break. Welcome back to the Annihilator. 6 robots start, only 1 will be left standing. There they are, tense and awaiting the action.
Roboteers, stand by.
Let's have a look at the teams. Starting off with Flipper on the left-hand side, Joe Moravsky, U2, Ian, Scott Lockhart and Tony Tabrell, and Can Opener, captained by Andrew Paul Kane there on the right-hand side. Tom Kane and Alistair O'Neill with him. There's Raging Nightmare on the left, Nigel Paget, Malcolm and Lee Summers, Ripper in the middle, John Finley, Stephen Johnson and David Finley, and Robo Chicken, Jason Snow, Farron White and Alec Dick. Dead Metal's in the arena for the house robots. And also Matilda with the spinning flywheel.
3, 2, 1, activate.
First, robot knocked out or immobilised, KO'd from the contest. 5 will carry on. Ripper flipping over Can Opener. Robo Chicken is flipped over. There, under pressure, is U2. Raging Nightmare was in there somewhere as well. In the middle there, you can see. Also, right against the arena wall is Flipper underneath U2. Is Flipper moving? Goodness me, it'll be for the first time in Robot Wars history if it is. Raging Nightmare crashing against Can Opener. Can Opener against the arena side wall. I wonder if we're going to see another shot of the highly mobile Flipper. They're armed and dangerous up there. In the control post, Metal is in there as well. Ripper taking on Can Opener. Can Opener is on the verge of oblivion, right on the arena. So, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. That's 1,000,000 times worse than the dentist drill of your worst ever nightmares. Did you hear it going in? Flipper is still in there, fighting. A very good fight. Can Opener, safely now, in the arena centre. Spinning, looking for trouble. Flipper and U2. Which one was immobilised first? If indeed they have been immobilised, Robo Chicken. They went over very early on, dented, bruised, battered. Are they still mobile? Ripper looks good value for me and Can Opener. The Annihilator champion. Certainly still moving his Raging Nightmare. using one of those 30 CO2 launches on board to self-right can opener spinning. These are the best 3 for me. Not about 3 going through from this stage. 5 go through from this stage. Goodness me, avoid that pit can opener, because technically everyone is still alive at this stage, I think. Ripper fighting with Raging Nightmare. Stay away from peril, because there are others in more dire straits than you, like Robo Chicken. I think they were the first to be immobilised right at the start. The red bot agrees with me, and that's the end of the hen-pecked Robo Chicken. Laid a couple of rotten eggs, and although the others are now going down in the pit, they'll be okay to fight another day, as it were. There they are, the teams together. Ripper on the left, John Finley, Stephen Johnson and David Finley. Can opener, Andrew Paul Kane, Tom Kane and Alistair O'Neill.
Raging Nightmare.
Series semi-finalist in the UK Championships.
U2.
Fought in the 5th Wars as Lamsey. Here comes Flipper.
Flipper.
Here comes Flipper. Here comes Flipper. Red carded. No entry. Leaving 2 teams. U2 there on the right-hand side and Raging Nightmare on the left.
Roboteers, stand by.
What on earth happened to Flipper? Shunt. And Matilda.
3, 2, 1. Activate.
Mechanical failure let down Flipper. 4 in the arena. Raging Nightmare taking a bashing from U2 and overturned by Ripper. And Ripper right in the thick of things there. And look at Can Opener linked together with Raging Nightmare. Pinched together perhaps. And look at Ripper, that is immensely powerful. Big, sturdy, 100 kilos in weight. Plenty of drive from the 750 watt motors running at 24 volts. It's a low pressure flipper. They can bring in other weapons if they want. I like the look of Ripper, the Nottinghamshire based roboteering team. Can Opener still in the thick of things as well. They can change those pincer plates. Raging Nightmare hops about. U2 is overturned. I don't know whether they can self-right from there, U2. A flipping battle going on elsewhere. But this could prove decisive. Can Opener came in as Raging Nightmare was flipping about all over the place. U2 on its side. Now I don't think they can get down from there. Still statuesque. U2, the pit has been alarmed, in other words, activated. And U2 is about to go out, or will they? Will they beat the count? Here's Raging Nightmare topples. Has to go down quickly to save U2. It's a matter of seconds. U2 or Raging Nightmare. It's U2. Bang. Gone. Raging Nightmare survives by the skin of their teeth. How on earth do they survive there? U2 may well bleat about it, but they're out.
Raging Nightmare.
May well be left to fight a lone cause here. Nigel Paget, Lee and Malcolm Summers. I'll tell you why in a moment.
Can Opener.
2 machines ready to come in. Can Opener the first. Why do I say 2? It's significant.
Ripper.
Out comes Ripper the second. The team's very close friends, I can tell you. Will they gang up on Raging Nightmare? Ripper on the left-hand side, John and David Finley, Stephen Johnson, Can Opener, Andrew Paul Kane, Tom Kane and Alistair O'Neill.
Roboteers, stand by.
Politics going on here? I wonder. Sergeant Bash in there for the House Robots. Dead Metal 2. Very tense.
3, 2, 1. Activate.
Could gang warfare be about to erupt in the Annihilator? Ripper attacking Raging Nightmare. Can Opener attacking Raging Nightmare. I had an inkling this might happen. And Ripper on Raging Nightmare once again. Sergeant Bash almost coming in as a protecting force. Raging Nightmare Go on, we support the underdogs on Robot Wars between the two of them, and they'll have their work cut out now, though. Ripper looks very strong to me. Should have done better in the UK Championships. Can opener overturned by Raging Nightmare. It's backs to the wall stuff, though, for Lee Summers, the 17-year-old apprentice engineer driving Raging Nightmare. Overturned once and twice by Ripper. Can opener pinces. Ooh, it looks painful out there, doesn't it? The can opener team looking on. Saw a shot of Andrew Ken, a hydraulic engineer by trade. Look at the holes now in Raging Nightmare. Still brave enough to self-right, punctured though. Can opener trying to overturn it. Well, if Raging Nightmare is beaten here and the two other teams go through, will friendships end there? Will rivalry, intense rivalry, take over? Can opener pushing as Ripper presses the pit release. And teamwork, I'm afraid, did it. As far as Raging Nightmare is concerned, beaten by two very good machines who linked well. Now, I could be imagining all this, and it may be coincidence. We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see if Raging Nightmare eventually gives up. Or whether Can Opener will be dragged down after it. The judges would go for Can Opener if that happened, I'm sure. They're both there on the end. Meanwhile, Ripper is learning valuable lessons about Can Opener as the seconds dribble away. And Raging Nightmare eliminated from the Annihilator.
Can opener.
The lighter, but the quicker of the two. The team, Andrew and Tom Kane and Alistair O'Neill driving.
Ripper.
As the flipper, has the power for me. John and David Finley and Stephen Johnson, the weapon operator.
Roboteers, stand by.
In the arena for the Annihilator final, representing the house robots, Matilda and also Mr. Psycho.
3, 2, 1. Active.
Can opener, the defending Annihilator champion, but for me up against it. Ripper flipping, once missing and the second time of asking though. And Can opener around the side. Ripper's ground clearance, half a centimetre. Can opener's 1 centimetre, but an invertible robot can run either way up, don't forget. With its hydraulic piercing jaws. Very even so far. They crash and bash and bounce off each other. The can opener prepares for a drive. What's happened to Ripper? Ripper can't get out from the arena wall. Has their control gone? I think it might have done, you know. They still got flippability. The old FF flippability factor on Robot Wars. They're moving because Can Opener is dragging them. I think they've lost forward motion, Ripper. Which means that Can Opener, although for long periods in this Annihilator has not looked at its best, could well triumph again. Spinning away. Now let's see if Ripper can come after them. They can't, can they? They're sort of crab-like, moving from side to side as the crab-looking machine Can Opener virtually pierces the pit release. Oh, Mr. Psycho came out of the CPZ and tried to have a hammer blow on Ripper. That was a bit naughty, because Ripper was not in that CPZ. So you go and tell Mr. Psycho off. I'm not. We're looking there at the Ripper team. They're looking worried, aren't they? I'm intrigued to find out what has gone wrong there. Oh, now the CPZ! And the smile is on the face of Tom Kane in the Can Opener team, because they know now that Ripper is at the mercy of Mr. Psycho. The big blow comes down. Ripper simply can't move away. Hamstrung from the early stages of this Annihilator final, which has been about the survival of the strongest. The strongest, most durable robot, not necessarily the most effective over short distances, or with a massive weaponry impact over a short time factor. Can Opener once again has gone the distance. It could yet be a twist in the tail, though. Because if can opener gets too close, that close to the arena side wall, Ripper can flip him out. That's why Ripper jostling for position at the moment, and that's why can opener, you'll see. Oh, now they've gone straight onto the flipper! But they can pinch in and grapple and hold on. Oh dear, and crumple as well. Look at that. Can opener is smoking. Are they locked in an embrace of doom? Okay, so the ref bot's counting down. Help me out. Who's it counting down? Must be Ripper, mustn't it? Must be Ripper. Can opener smoking. But Ripper's light and flicker of flame of life went out a long time ago. Has to be can opener for me.